Hey there, my name's Donnie, and I'm going to show you how to change spark plugs on a Subaru H6 engine in a Gen 3 Outback. This isn't a hard process. It takes about an hour. I'm going to do it the way that the dealer does. No getting underneath the car, reaching up underneath, no having to jack up the engine in order to reach the plugs. What we're going to do is we're going to take out the battery, and then we're going to take out the intake tract and the air filter box on the passenger side of the engine, and that will give us plenty of clearance to get to the spark plugs. You're going to need a few sockets. You're going to need a feeler gauge set and a U-joint, a 3-inch 3/8 extension, a 6-inch 3-inch wrench extension as well. The 10mm socket, that's for undoing your battery terminals. The 12mm for taking your coil packs off. The spark plug socket is a 5/8, and that'll be about it. Alright, first thing we're going to do is get the engine cover off, which isn't too hard in my car. Lift away. Over here. Next thing I'm going to do is undo the MAF connector. Now, the other things we got to do here is we got to take this clamp off here to loosen the air intake, and I find it easier undoing this clamp over here as well, just in order to get this out of the way. It makes it a little easier. We're going to unhook the battery and take off the snorkel here as well, and we're going to take out the airbox over here. Alright, so I got the battery out, and now we're going to take these clamps apart here. Battery was just as easy to do without the camera in my hand. It's easy to drop tools. Dropping tools across battery terminals is bad, at least in my experience. You don't have to loosen them off hard, just enough to back them off to get them so they move. That's that first then. Undo these two clips here. Stick your air filter out. Not too bad. Now I'm going to take the snorkel off. There's supposed to be a screw fitting here and here. Mine are broken, but it's not too hard to get off anyhow. Just wiggle it a little and it comes off. Store this here. Now, this is sort of a tricky part here for taking the rest of the gearbox off. There's a bolt down in here, and there's another one up a little farther. We can get down in there to see it. There's two of them there on the frame rail. There it is. And there's a hidden one just in here, right up in the top corner, right there. Once that comes off, this whole box lifts out, and then that gives you free and clear access down into the coil packs and spark plugs on that side. And over this side, with the battery out, you can see here, there's the tray of the battery. Easy access to the coil packs there. I'll get the airbox out, and then we'll continue. Okay, with the airbox removed, there's an awful lot of space here. You got some power steering lines in the way on this car. Not sure what the power line or the power steering lines run on the Gen 2. Same thing with the battery on the other side. Besides the battery, I'm pretty sure you have to move the washer bottle, fluid bottle, on a Gen 2. So now I got a 12mm socket on my ratchet, and you can see it will just fit down in here. You got to put it in a 90-degree angle and rotate it on, but it will get onto the coil pack. But I got to take it back out again because I did not unhook the harnesses from the coils. All you do with those, just on the forward-facing side of those connectors, there's a little button that you press on, and then you pull back, and it will slide off. You'll hear a little click when it goes. There's one. There's two. And third. There. Just tuck that out of the way. Now, again, starting with the rear cylinder here. The rear ones are the tricky ones, but they're still doable. Get this onto the coil pack here, in here, try not to drop my phone. Start at. And once I get it started, these, for me, have come out with the fingers. I just use my index finger and middle finger and just sort of work at it a little and walk it out. I find it easier doing that than it is to use the ratchet down in there in some cases. And this, I think, is one of those. If you have a fat hand, that's not as helpful as a skinny hand. And I've been told I got girly hands, but I work with my hands a lot, so I'm not sure how that's still the case, but it doesn't matter. Got it. There. Now, with the rear two coil packs, you need to pull them out, straight out. And then once you got them started, like that, you get it partway out, you got to turn it 90 degrees to get it to come past the frame rail, and it pops right out. Now, sometimes you can just drop it just as easy. Grab that. But there you go. That's from the back end of the engine that everybody says is impossible to get to. And I'm going to just take that spark plug out now. Take my 12mm socket off of there. Just for a quick demo of how the hard one is to do. Sorry for the wobbling camera and making you sick. Now, the trick to getting in here is the U-joint on the end of the wrench. That's the only way they're going to be able to do this. I took the 3-inch extension off of the 6-inch one, and now I just use my fingers to slip it in. And I'll just connect up the other extension on again with the ratchet. Now, I'm on. Let's see, where's the wrench here in the camera here? I can't even find my own hand. Just a second, here we are. Back here, try to get down and see this a little better. There we go. It's all inside the cylinder head here in the valve cover. So I'm just going to start turning that up. Okay, that's loose enough now. I can turn that out with my fingers without having the ratchet on. Okay, and just try turning the thing right here. Oh, there it comes. It's a little tricky getting used to the angle on the U-joint, that you'll be able to turn it without much resistance. Appears I've provided lubrication to some of my parts. I guess I've skinned the back of my finger. Oh, well. No pain, no gain, they say. Now, I'm not having any particular trouble with my spark plugs, but I've got my engine tuned, and I'm supposed to change them a little more often. So I'm up to 50,000 kilometers, or 30,000 miles. The OEM plugs are supposed to last for 60, but being tuned, I'd rather not have any issues, so I got a great deal on these plugs from another forum member. Is that it there? Feels like it's loose. I guess we are. We're out. One plug out. And that's at the back of cylinder number 5. So that wasn't too hard. Valve cover's still not leaking. Plug's not covered in oil. It's got a good color on the end of it here. It's just between tan and light brown. So we're good there. So I'm going to do the other ones. And actually I'll do number 6 before I go any farther. You can see that because it's on the battery side. Again, you come in down here like so. I'll see, make sure I can see this on the camera without the glare. Let's see here. There we go. Now this is a little tricky because you got to push in the button here at the back, and then you got to push it that way, the same way as the other side, but it goes the opposite direction. So it's a little harder to get at. But, oh, that's cylinder number 4. There. Even though I'm having trouble here. There we go. There's number 6. And I'm pushing it off here. After it's out of the way. Ratchet, where are you at? That's the part I hate. There they are. It's right in front of me. I need my 12mm socket. there. There you go. Now, where's that nut? There it is. The bolt is just inside the head. It's a little hard to see with this cable in the way here. That's where it is. But the 3/8 ratchet fits in there between the frame rail and the cover, valve cover. And we're just gonna loosen that off. Not there to do with my fingers, I believe. And I do it the same way on this side. I'll use my fingers just to turn it. Mine turns easy. I am in the Rust Belt area. I do have the car driven over pickled roads in the winter. Whether that affects these or not, I don't know. For others, I haven't had any problem. This is now the 3rd time I've had these out. Last fall I had them out just to see how they were doing, and they looked fine. Just to prove to myself that there's got to be a better way than crawling underneath the car or jacking up the engine and spending a whole bunch of time, because I know the dealer doesn't do that. Maybe they do. That just means they don't follow their own book. Grab a hold of it. It's a little tricky to get it, but I got it. There we go. And again, with this one, you have to turn it 90 degrees. I'm going to try not to drop it. Save myself crawling underneath the car to grab it. And there we go. We have a coil pack for number 6. Now, we need our extension. The extension is right here inside the fender. Take off the 6-inch extension for now. There. Now, going back in with the socket, down into number 6 tube. I'm gonna set the phone down here to get it, because it does take 2 hands sometimes. Okay, now I've got my ratchet going down there into number 6, so I'm gonna start backing that out. Dealing with the U-joint now, trying to get it to go past. Going, there we go. Okay, that should be good enough there to turn that out with the extension still attached here. Down. Back up here. This is much more entertaining in person than it is watching, I'm sure. But this is more to show the hard ones, which are the two at the rear, number 5 and number 6. The other ones are easier, but it's the exact same process. Take off the coil pack. Put your spark plug socket in, your U-joint, and your 3-inch extension, or your 6-inch. I don't think it matters which one goes first. And then they'll come out, and the installation is the reverse. There you go. That's number 6. So, very good. That spark plug doesn't look bad either. Alright, I got those plugs all out. The NGK plugs, they come with a little protective tube over top of them to protect the gap. You really still should check the gap just to make sure that's the right one. This one I'm putting in, it's not the OEM one, but it's close. It's the ILFR6AIX-11. And they come with a larger gap than these ILFR6B plugs that come with this car. So I'm going to double check the gap, and I want to set it to 0.7 millimeters. That's 0.276 inches. So you're going to want a feeler gauge. Look at this, nothing fancy, just a basic gauge. I got this one a Canadian Tire, and I'm just going to check the gap. Now, if the gap is too big or too small, I'm going to use this tool right here to bend the electrode one way or the other. You cannot pry on that little tip. If you do, you'll likely snap it off and your plug is useless to you. So I'm going to check these out now and be back. Alright, we're just about done here. I got the plugs all gapped. I'm going to start with number 6. Nothing to it, same way as it came out. Just a couple other notes. When you're putting the spark plugs back in, there is a crush washer at the end of the threads. You may have noticed it in the picture of the plug. When you're turning the plug in, it's going to take a little while to go in if you can't get the ratchet to move very far, much of a swing. But you'll feel it start to bottom up. And when it does, if you give it a little more effort, you'll feel it the crush washer starting to give. And you're looking at about a full turn, no more than a full turn, before that washer will crush and bottom out. And that's when you stop. Also keep in mind that when you're putting the coil packs back in, the rear ones you do have to rotate 90 degrees in order to get them past the frame rail. And it may be easier for you as well to do the same thing with number 2 and number 4, or number 3 cylinders. It's all up to you how you do it for getting them back in. The other note on the Gen 3 H6, the 30R engine, the coil packs, the harness connectors are color-coded, so that way you don't put them in the wrong place. As you see, hopefully you see the glare, get this down here. The first one here on the right, that's cylinder number 1, that's a black connector. Number 3 is a white one, and number 5 is black. And it's the same thing on the other side of the engine as well. Over here, and we can see it with all the glare. We have a black connector on number 2. We have a white connector on number 4, and we have a black one on number 6. When you push those connectors on, they go on horizontally. They're deeper than they are tall. They go on with the depth away from you in towards the valve cover. And when you push them on, they will click. Make sure that they click, because if they back off, you will have a misfire. I previously found a misfire on my cylinder number 2 here the last time I changed the plugs, because somebody broke the connector off and I was getting a misfire randomly. So what I did, saved me having to buy a new coil pack, because the coil pack works fine, is I just wrapped it up with cross connect wire from a telephone box. Wrapped it around a couple times and looped that wire through the 2 wires on the harness connector to keep it from coming off. I've never had a problem. You may wish to replace it. And again, the rest of the spark plug job is just the reverse of what you did to take things apart. Same thing with the plugs, coil packs, the snorkel and air intake box. Everything is just the reverse of what it was to take it apart. Total time, including doing the video, recording along with changing the plugs, was about 1 hour and 20 minutes. Without me holding the phone to record the video, it would take about an hour. If you found the video helpful, just click the like button below, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. You can also get more help on this topic from SubaruOutback.org, where I'm a forum member, and there's other knowledgeable people there as well that can help you with your troubles. Thank you very much.